that is the reality of it. If you're not producing content offline, sometimes just community members just go, well, just trying to break out of that and like start going back to variety. There's a specific way that I have to do it. And like recently,
When did you start noticing these opportunities started coming about?
I think I was out around. If they see that you're still an affiliate, sometimes they'll be like, oh, we prefer partner streamers over affiliates. But now, like, especially in probably the last year and a half since I've been kind of looking into like sponsorships and stuff, I've had a lot of breakthrough with that, with working with pretty good brands.
G'day everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Creator Dashboard. I'm the jury, and I'm here with Trash Ash, and we're going to be talking a little bit about content creation and how to be a better content creation, and be a better content creator. And more specifically, we're going to talk about growing on Twitch, because I guess it is a very hard thing to do, and Trash has made some significant growth over the last few years, and I thought it was something worth talking about. So welcome on in, Trash. How are you doing?
Oh, thank you. I'm well. That was a lovely introduction of, the podcast. Well done.
Yeah, I probably should be calling you Ash, not Trash.
Either or. Everyone calls me Trash, Ash, other names that I can't really say on here. I don't know what can be bleeped out.
That's good. Well, Ash, tell us a little bit about your stuff. So when did you start streaming on Twitch?
About 3 years ago. So what's the date? A little over 3 years ago. So it's been a long time. It's been good though. But
Yep.
Yeah.
And so what kind of got you started streaming on Twitch?
Into gaming and whatnot. I used to jam a lot of COD and stuff like that. And then I seen a couple of girlfriends of mine that being on Twitch, and I was like, oh, what's this? And obviously, like, I know of YouTube and stuff like that. But yeah, didn't really think of anything of the world of like live streaming. Seen what they were doing, I'm like, oh, that looks like something fun, like hobby sort of thing. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of got to a point where I was a little bit bored with my own job. Maybe in the back of my mind, I was like, this could be a thing. But at the time, I was like, oh, this would be a nice hobby. So I started it, and about 4 or 5 months in, it kind of popped off from something that happened. And then, yeah, essentially from there, I was like, oh, this could actually be a thing. And so that's when I started picking up a little bit more, kind of set a schedule. I'm very bad at time management. So a lot of the time my community knows when I say a time, add like another 15-20 minutes on top of it. And then that's when I started like really getting into posting on like TikTok and it was mainly TikTok that I started posting on. I was on Instagram, but I was like just trying to change things around. So yeah, that's been a good time.
Fantastic. So you said that you kind of you started with COD, was it?
Yeah, when I first started, so at the time I've always played COD growing up. And at the time I was like playing with my COD squad, some of my COD mates that I've been playing with for a couple of years, and and like that's where the name came from actually.
Because
I
you're
changed.
Trash.
Yeah, well, like 90% of the time it's Trash, 10% of the time I pull it out of somewhere and it just like, it's like a magic trick. So yeah, no, I changed my name to like Trash Ash on there. My mates thought it was funny, and then I have good banter. I know it. And just like seeing what other people are doing, I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. That'd be fun. And then I started with COD, but then also at the time my sister was encouraging me because I grew up loving Skyrim. That's one of my favorite MMOs. MMOs, RPGs.
Yeah.
My main game now is an MMO, ESO.
Yeah.
But yeah, starting out with that RPG, and I was like, oh well, my sister's encouraging me to play Elder Scrolls Online. May as well give it a go. And then I started playing that as well. So it was kind of like ESO and COD, and then I do like little horror games here and there sort of thing in the mix. So, but yeah, I was trying to go straight off the bat with variety. And then from there, I started like about that mark of where I was like, oh, this could be something. I started like doing a lot of research and slowly figuring out, oh, maybe I need to like niche it down a little bit more. And I got really into Elder Scrolls Online anyway, so I started
Yeah.
playing that heavily. And then with my COD squad, people went off and people had babies and all sorts of things, and I was like, well, there's only like two of us left, so I'll jam with you when I can. So yeah, it kind of turned into that, and then I just being like the community I'm a part of with Elder Scrolls Online itself, that really helped me grow nicely, and it's been like a nice transition. And then being able to join the stream team eventually after, I think it was like maybe a year and a half of streaming, I think it was.
Yeah.
But I did like grind. I'm like, I'm gonna make sure that they know who I am. I
Yeah.
want to be noticed in this category. I want to be respected in this category at the same time, but also like the whole community in general was pretty lit. So yeah, and then that's when it really like upturned, going a part of their team. And yeah, because it's very niche specific. The only thing
Yeah.
I have now is one, I've been like the last year it's been like this for numbers, like up and down for going for partner. That's one of the things that I just want to achieve now. I
Yeah.
think we can all agree these days partnership isn't really be all end all now. There's not really many benefits to it. It's
No,
just
not really.
one of the things that I want ticked off. It's just
Yeah,
one
it's
of the
like
things
it's
I
just an
want.
achievement. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess there
yeah,
is still just to like I guess you as a creator being a partner might not necessarily have like that much reason to pursue
yeah,
it, but I think there is still something about the tick as far as viewers are concerned. Like I think the
yeah,
viewers still kind of look at a partner and think there's something a bit more special or bigger about them because they're a partner.
yeah,
It's like a prestige kind of thing. As superficial as it sounds, I think there's still something going on. There would still be
yeah.
something going on there.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I've seen that from like one, a streamer point of view. I've seen it where like it benefits more. But I've been on the opposite side of that where like, because I've had some streams where no raids or anything, and I've had like 400 viewers, and above other partnered streamers that are in my specific category. And I'm sitting, and that's the thing, like going from that to like, and then maybe the next week I might be sitting at the 50s, 60s. Okay, then the next week could be the hundreds, and then the next week it could be the 60s, and then next week it could be like 200, and then next week it could be the 50s again, and so it's like this, and it's just like, oh. But one thing that I have noticed, so there are some specific brands that do sometimes, it's not very many anymore. I think a lot of brands have changed their outlook on this, but
yeah,
I have noticed just in the past that sometimes if they see that you're still an affiliate, sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, we prefer partner streamers over affiliates." But now, like, especially in probably the last year and a half since I've been kind of looking into like sponsorships and stuff, I've had a lot of breakthrough with that, with working with pretty good brands that don't really care. They obviously they want to see the analytics of like posting certain things and like
yeah.
certain streams and sponsored streams and stuff like that, but yeah, sometimes they just don't even care about that tick anymore.
They're not even
It's
looking at it anymore.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah,
about like how genuine you are and what you can
if
bring
you're
to the
actually
table.
following
That's
through with
different.
your content and
Yeah,
that
hundred
kind of
percent,
stuff. Yeah,
100%.
that's interesting. So you said that I guess things started really changing a lot for you when you started like niching down
Yeah,
a bit. So, and you said that was kind of like when things took off. So, I'm
yeah,
guessing you're talking about when you started just focusing on Elder Scrolls Online.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know if you've seen the category on Twitch itself. It's very much like most nights, especially during the week, there's certain peak nights, and we all know certain games have peak nights. Um, but like some nights it could be as low as like 400 people just watching that category. And then some nights it could be like 2,000 people watching the category. It doesn't really go far from the gauge from there, unless if like Bethesda has like a special stream going on. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. So a lot of the time it's very like niche specific, and if you put yourself like out in like that category or even any other category, if you can like stay consistent and like make a name for yourself, network properly, like obviously don't be like, I'm a streamer too. You should come watch my stuff and posting another. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you're asked, just say, "Oh yeah, I stream as well," and then it's appropriate.
Let it happen organically.
Yeah, but yeah, like for me personally, I'm not saying I'm stopping ESO because that'll always be my love. Like I love ESO. It's one of my favorite games and the community is amazing. But just trying to break out of that and like start going back to variety, there's a specific way that I have to do it. And like recently, especially the last 2 months, I've been working away a lot, which doesn't usually happen. And usually I can stream while away. However, my internet while I was there was terrible. Like you cannot stream anything. And so yeah, that wasn't happening. And then creating content I wasn't really doing because I was severely sick with a sinus infection and
Ugh.
then other flus for like intermittently every couple of weeks. And then just doing 14-hour days on top of that, which doesn't usually happen either, but just a big job going on. And just literally life happening the last 2 months. I've gone from like having, as I was explaining, sometimes it's up and down. It's like 50, 60, hundreds, 50, like, it's like
Yeah.
on the cusp. Now that I'm kind of having to start again to rebuild my community to say, hey, look, here's that trust there. I'm sorry I've been gone. And unfortunately, that is the reality of it. Like, if you're not producing content offline or even being online present, like, I'd say at least 2 days a week sometimes.
Like
So,
streaming.
yeah. Sometimes just community members just go, well, I'm not going to invest time in you if you're not going to say hello to me. So they'll move to the next person. And that happens. And that's one of the things, like, not taking that to heart. It's understandable. Like, it
Did you
happens.
find everyone came back easy enough? Like, has it been a bit
Slowly. Yeah. So, like, seeing some of the stats after my last couple of streams, I've been like, oh, my heart. Like, and just, having to, it's that feeling of, they don't hate me. It's fine. Just start again. Just do what you do. You've got it. You know how to do it. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to present myself. I know what I need to do to get back.
You've got all the kit,
where
you've
I
got
was.
all the gear,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just getting that consistency back and showing, hey, I'm here. I'm sorry. And then they start slowly trickling it. It's a process. Like, it's probably going to take me another couple of weeks before I'm back to my original, like, level, and then kind of grinding from there. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, it's a process.
Yeah. So that's actually quite interesting because I've stopped streaming.
Mhm.
Well, I say that, but I've gone live a couple times the
Yeah,
last couple
yeah.
of weeks. But I used to stream a lot more, and then essentially I've stopped streaming. And I have recently thought about going back to it, but like reluctance of like I'm reluctant to do it, but it's interesting to think about just how long it would take to rebuild. I mean, it makes sense because you're potentially going back, well, not necessarily going back from zero, but I guess
No.
going back like with a reduced audience, so it can have an impact.
Yeah.
So you said when you first started streaming, well, like you started like really focusing on it, you did a lot of research and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
where did you look, and what was it like? What did you learn that really helped kind of make the change?
Google, Dr. Google. Just researching just basics like how to run OBS. I was using Streamlabs, but then I had to switch probably about a year ago to OBS for the Atom, the vertical plugin thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if Streamlabs has something like that.
I think they do now, but
I don't know.
I haven't.
I need to look into it because anyway. But yeah, so like researching how to just like run basic stuff, things about overlays. Like, I started with a lot of overlays and now I've like simplified everything. Like,
Yeah.
I like, if other people do it, like, do what makes you happy, but for me personally, like, for my aesthetic, I'm not really like, I don't like borders too much.
Well, I think there was a whole trend a couple years ago where everyone had all
Yeah.
these massive borders and like
Yeah.
lots of weird graphics. Like I even had it.
Yes.
I remember so many people had it, but now I've seen that trend go away again.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So like at that time it was like get your like overlays and your aesthetics and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what I want, so I just use some default thing. But then I was like, what does this mean and what does that mean, and just trying to research everything, single little detail. Me myself, I ask a lot of questions, so I I get a little bit overwhelmed with a lot of information, but I just took my time.
Mm.
One of the main things that I did was like there was, in the certain categories that I was streaming, I did find streamers on Twitch that I enjoyed watching. I, took me a fair few weeks and I was like, oh yeah, I like this person, I'll follow them. And then I just started like seeing what they were doing and, how they streamed and how they spoke to their audience in a way. That was a really good learning thing because for me, I had the confidence and whatnot, but like also being able to pay attention to chat and game at the same time, sometimes it's like, ugh, you try. And now, whereas now, like, you get so used to it, you're like, yep, 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 yep. And then you're like, screw the game. Audience is more important. And then everyone else is screaming at you in game, Ashley, like, what? um, so, just little things and like tips of how to be a good streamer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then just, going through, obviously there was like TOS stuff, just making sure that I wasn't doing anything bad. And yeah, it was a lot of research in that, but then also because I was like trying to post a lot on TikTok and stuff, trying to figure that whole thing out, and then the algorithm changed, and I'm like, ugh, pfft. So I was just, yeah, it's a full learning process continuously, to be honest. So
I interrupt this podcast for a very special message. I would like to shout out you, the watcher of this video, or listener of this video, for making it this far, and I hope that you have taken something away from it so far, and that you take something away from the remainder of the video. If you have enjoyed it so far, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to learn more, subscribe to the Creator Dashboard. And just for a side note, let us know what you want to learn more about in the comment section below. Anyway, let's continue with the episode. Yeah.
yeah,
It's always changing, especially
100%.
when you start looking at TikTok.
Yeah,
That's a completely different beast.
It's painful. It's painful.
So shifting to Elder Scrolls. So obviously, Elder Scrolls Online is your main game, and it's an interesting one because Elder Scrolls doesn't have it's like, as you said, it's not a massive viewer base.
No.
And I guess you could probably say it's probably has a bit to do with why you grew so quickly because you're not competing with such a big audience.
Yeah.
So I guess for a lot of creators and a lot of streamers who are coming up, if they were looking at niching into something, I guess niching into something that's more niche,
Yeah.
will probably give you a bit more results. But I guess there's probably a risk in not going too small.
Yeah.
Because I streamed Assassin's Creed 2 the other night, and I think when I checked the stats afterwards, there was like 10 people watching it. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so that's like the cap.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
those are the things to keep in mind. Whereas, like, if someone's streaming Fortnite, good luck.
Yeah,
I guess
super saturated. Yeah. And
Super
that's the
saturated.
thing, like with those really oversaturated categories too, I've found like a lot of people have found that success by, ensuring they do have a set schedule, but they're also like posting the crap out of like short form content and then also long form content. And that's the thing, like for me, like recently I started doing up my YouTube stuff and whatnot, and my shorts have been going pretty well. I make like little cringy
Yeah, I've seen
Skyrim green screen TikToks, and they go really well, but that's because there's such a community behind Skyrim memes and taking the piss out of the game at the same time of enjoying the game. But also like I kind of bring my own twist of, Aussie accent. I don't wear costumes, so it's like I've just teleported into a game and stuff like that. So, but that's a slow process of also me learning how to edit green screen on Adobe Premiere Pro, because at the moment all I do is I open up TikTok, open up the green screen, and I film with a green screen in the background so that it's like better, but it's not foolproof. Like it's
Yeah.
not flawless. So I need to like actually learn how to like hard film and then edit it on Adobe so it's like clear. But yeah, as I was saying, like just trying to go into an oversaturated market, you've got to put in the work behind the scenes, especially. But with me,
Mm.
I don't really post too much about Elder Scrolls Online content on short form stuff like TikTok because it does not perform well.
Well, I
However,
mean,
if yeah,
technically, I guess just to kind of, sorry to
no,
cut
you're
you
right.
off there, but like it makes sense because
Mm.
on Twitch it works because there's obviously people looking to
Yeah,
watch the content, right?
yeah,
But and this kind of flies in the face of what a lot of people say about Twitch. Um, the discoverability is probably better for Elder
yeah,
Scrolls Online,
yeah, yeah, and
but
that is the thing.
but nobody
So
cares about it on
no,
YouTube or Shorts or like
well,
TikTok because it's not popular.
YouTube long form it does well. But again, you've got to like post consistently and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people that do play a part of the stream team that post long form and they do really well. They've got um well established YouTube channels and it hasn't taken them too long.
Yeah,
So and that's the thing, it's more so about like guides and certain quest lines and what to pick as race and stuff like that. So it's like very much guides and all that sort of jazz with Elder Scrolls Online because it is quite an overwhelming game. So I
yeah,
think that's where that advice sits really well with that community. Whereas like with me trying to break into that variety sort of sense, I from research and from what I've spoken to people about and what I've witnessed myself, like with the YouTube long form and with the shorts at the moment. I'm looking at expanding to popular games for the green screen things.
yeah.
So kind of keeping that green screen niche, taking the piss. I don't know, can
Well,
I
I think
say
that'd
piss?
do really well.
Um, but and so sticking to popular games, but also going towards that everybody can watch like family niche as well because I don't want to just be stuck in one aisle either, whereas my live streams my on Twitch I'm literally marked as 18 plus just because I swear a lot. There's sometimes crude jokes and stuff like that, whereas with the YouTube content, like anything that I said, like any like swearing gets bleeped. But at the same time, we try and just make it funny and just me failing and like horror
Mm,
games, for example, with friends, like that. That's one of the main things that I really want to touch on. And like just goofy games, indie games, multiplayer stuff. That's really where I kind of want to go, like with the variety sense and having a
yeah.
good time and entertainment, because that's what I do. Like I love that side of thing and having a laugh and yeah. So it's kind of the plan. I know it's going to take longer than sticking to a specific niche.
Yeah.
However, I'll be a lot happier, and I'm hoping that from there that'll help convert back to my Twitch live streams as long as that stays consistent, like the YouTube and the TikToks.
Mm.
So but they kind of go hand in hand, and you can't, like, unless if you're really super lucky, they don't go well without the other sort of thing. Or
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well,
hard.
it's a tricky one. I mean, it
Yeah,
depends on what you're.
what you're doing specifically, it's
Yeah.
like
So the only thing I could see probably I think it's a great strategy, and I think it's great
mm,
that you're kind of diversifying your content and using YouTube as your outlet for the variety stuff.
yeah,
But and I'm happy to be wrong here, but the I don't see like if say someone follows you or subscribes to you on YouTube, for example, one of your COD videos, which I've
yeah.
watched, and then they go to your stream and they see you playing ESO.
And that's why I want to switch to variety on stream because
Ah, you want to do variety on
yeah,
streaming too.
yeah. So, and that's the thing. Like, I've been stuck in a niche for so long that I'm like, you can burn yourself out with one game. Don't get me wrong. Again, I love the game, but
Yeah, I don't know
doing
how
it
how
every
I could
single
do it.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, because that's like your main thing. So what I tend to do is I'll start with that most times, unless if there's like maintenance on the servers, and then yeah, I'll stream it for a couple of hours, and that helps build my audience. Says hello, my normal community, and then afterwards I'll generally play a variety game, and
Yeah.
that's when I also might do like a coinciding like TikTok stream for an hour or something. But that's the thing, like just being able to do that variety and then slowly being able to build a bigger, wider variety audience, and then being able to again, so they can just coexist back and forth.
Have you
Yeah.
thought about, and this is a strategy that comes up, is so the variety games, how closely related to ESO are they? Yeah.
Very much not. That's the main thing. The only variety game that would be closely related to would be Skyrim,
Yeah.
because like with Skyrim
Well,
together
you
modded.
you
Yeah.
could expand the bubble out and go like other MMOs.
Yeah, there's some of them that I've looked into. I mean, Elden Ring's one, but I rage quit every time I play
Oh,
Elden
yeah.
Ring. But yeah, there's a few that I'm like looking at. There's a couple actually at the indie game section at PAX that I've seen. I don't know if you've seen the combat wombat.
Yes, I did see that. Yes.
But
Hello, Hollow Hero.
yeah, something like that. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, so I want to do a bit of everything, and that's the thing.
Mm,
Like, I want to re-diversify because I don't want to. I still want to love this, and like I still do, and I don't want to get to a point where I've seen other people get to where they don't want to stream anymore because they get burnt out, bored, they're over it, things like
yeah.
that. I want to. A couple of years ago, it kicked into me where I was like, I want to make this a full time thing, and it's going to take time, but I want to do it the right way where it's also mentally healthy as well. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
I think that's a really good outlet and a really good way to look at it because I mean, yeah, I mean, some people could just play the same game forever and I mean, that's great.
yeah,
I don't think I could ever do it, but one strategy I've thought about is just kind of sticking with one genre.
yeah,
My problem is that I have such a mixed bag of games that I like that are
yeah,
so distantly related to each other. Like
yeah.
I like League of Legends, but then I'll also play like Project Zomboid,
Yeah.
and or I'll play like Anno, which is like a civilian, like a city builder game.
Oh God. Yeah.
Completely different
Yeah.
audiences. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. But I
Mm.
guess so. For someone who's starting out, there might be the benefit of being niching into something and
Mhm.
doing that to build your audience up at the very
Yeah.
least, because you would have viewers who like are watching for you. I'd imagine at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah, there are, and I know like who they are. I know roughly how many there are that always come into stream. So I have like a set, like my concrete block. They
Mm.
are my
Would you
loyal
have?
audience.
Do you know like a percentage?
Um, I'd say like for like majority of my streams. So like if I have like an average viewership of like 80 people for the stream, right? It might be like 50 of them. So
That's
say like
50. That 50 is
fif-
pretty good.
50-60% sort of thing usually
Yeah, that's
is
pretty
like my
good.
loyal audience, and then on top of that then we'll get some that are not always there, but they'll pop in like every few months, and
Yeah.
or newcomers that also like start to build on that. And that's the thing, it takes time, and then
Mm.
once you do, as long as you're consistent and pretty well, then you're pretty good.
Yeah,
um
because
yeah,
essentially you're, and I know there's actually a bit of talk. I've seen a bit of talk about this. You're building a relationship
yeah,
with your viewers,
yeah,
and I want to be careful with using the word friendship,
yeah,
because I know
yeah.
there's some barriers that need to be drawn up there. But
100%.
just like any kind of relationship, you need to get to know someone.
Yeah,
So I guess it takes time to build that up. And if you're
yeah,
distant, then you're
yeah.
distant.
and
Like,
and and that's the thing, like in a way, yeah, it is like a friendship. And just showing up, but there gets to a point where you have such a really strong community that you know they can tell if you're off your game. And most of the time they'll be like, are you okay? Do you want to talk about it? Don't worry about the game, let's just talk. And I'm not really one to show a lot of emotion on stream. Usually I just won't stream, but like if there is anything that they'll usually pick up on, that be like, oh yeah, what happened, blah blah, and you'll tell them, and they'll be like, oh yeah, this and that, and then it just turns into a conversation, and you're just kind of like relaxing, and you can kind of set free. And the amount of people that so most of my mods that I have been around pretty much since day dot, and just some of them are the most phenomenal people ever, and a few of them are from different parts of the world. But yeah, and you tell them, don't need to show up. Look after your mental health. If you got something on, don't bother. Like, just it's okay. Like, please do what you need to
You
do.
do
It's your
look after
life.
yourself. Yeah.
I'm not paying you. Like, it's just like, yeah. And they show up every time, and that's the thing. It's like, holy crap. So I try and do my best to show up for them, and try and reward them when I can with things and stuff like that. So you meet some pretty amazing people in this space, to be
Yeah, that's
fair.
cool.
Yeah.
It's really good. Oh, well, so I guess just to recap on that. So I think kind of what you're saying based on your journey, and I see that you're kind of trying to diversify and like become a bit
Yeah.
more variety now. But for someone starting out, picking a niche to focus on to start off with, it probably helps go into other content too.
Yeah.
Build up an audience, get people used to you, get yourself comfortable streaming, and then look at kind of diversifying once everyone's kind of familiar with who you are. Probably
Yeah.
I'd say it's probably a good strategy.
Yeah. And like also putting yourself out there and networking. So like whether you're a part of like people's discords, obviously again, don't just go posting your link and not even interacting with what they're doing or like
Yeah,
making an effort for them. It's not this follow for follow thing. It's
yeah,
becoming a part of like the whole community, like the
mm,
actual game community, and looking at the people. And if you see like someone from another stream in another person's chat, be like, hey, how you going? Like, I see you. And you don't need to flaunt that you're a streamer too, but just
mm.
be kind and just respectful, and just put yourself out there.
It
That's it.
probably it probably helps when you're a part, like if you've got a game that you're
Yeah,
focusing on,
yeah.
because like if you're, say for example, streaming Elder Scrolls Online a
Mm,
lot, and then you're obviously part of that community of
yeah,
like MMOs are probably a really good place for it. You
yeah,
just start talking to everyone, you're being friends with everyone, and in that
yeah.
space, and it probably happens a lot more organically that way.
Yeah, like if I go into, because most of the streamers that I know in my category, there's a lot of them that are a part of my stream team. And if I go into one of their chats, you've usually got a couple of viewers that are like, "Oh, hey, Trash," and stuff like that. So, and vice versa, the same for them. Like when they come in my chat. So, and that's the thing. It's there's probably just a few things as a newcomer. One, do research, but like also, if you're going to do it in a niche, yeah, network as best as you can, but also don't be fake, because people read past that pretty
Mm,
quick smart.
yep.
Two, like if you are going to go variety, expect it to take a long time, and also expect to put a lot of work in, especially with your outside posting when you're not live, like on the other stuff. You need to promote the crap out of yourself.
Yeah.
And thirdly, like if you just are going for like a genre, as you mentioned, like if they want to stream in specific genres, like just horror games only, again, it's kind of like variety, but a little bit more niche down. But yeah, post the crap out of it, like
Yeah, because
post it
I
all
guess
the
the
time.
thing about variety, or like sorry,
Mm.
genre streaming,
Yeah,
say horror games for example, if you were going to stream a horror game, but you might do a different horror game every week, you
yeah,
might have viewers who only really like that one horror game, or
yeah,
they're stuck on that horror game for like 2 weeks.
yeah,
So like you might catch them once, and that won't be enough time to build a relationship for the next one.
yeah,
And so like yeah, so it's a interesting one,
yeah.
interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, and always be yourself as well. Like being able to, that's the thing, creating an audience by being unique. And again, paying attention to your chat is really important. And just go into if you only have one viewer, talk to yourself. If it's yourself, start talking. Like think of things, like grab things from the game, like if the tree's a color, and talk about the colors, and then talk about the graphics of the game, and like just start talking.
Mm.
Like a lot of the times I'm probably nuts, and there's probably a few people like me. I tend to have conversations with myself when I'm looking at things, but it's probably my ADHD. However, just being able to just like pull things from the game, make it relatable, or pull things
Mm.
from the game, or if you see, if you do have your view count on whatever, if you see someone else pop in, be like, oh, welcome in everyone. Don't call them out. Don't have your viewer list open. Just be like, hope everyone's having a great day. We're playing this and blah blah. Like, just every so often, welcoming new people in, just being able to build, like, just take that first step of building that sort of relationship that you
Yeah,
have
well, you
with
got to
your
introduce
viewers.
yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
It's
And when
it's a good point.
one of the things I will say though is raids have a an alert on,
Copy
like,
pasta or
yeah,
oh,
just have an alert on of some sort, and also introduce yourself. I see this so many times, and I'm very patient. I don't mind at all. um two things I'll bring up, like with raids. I'll go into people, especially in the ESO category. There's a lot of newer streamers in the ESO category, so I like to
yep.
go back to them, giving back to the community, sort of thing. Another time I'll go in, and a lot of the time they'll be flustered and they're like, "Oh my god, this is the biggest," or "This is my first raid," and stuff like that. So and I'll be like, "Introduce yourself," and they'll do like a little spiel, and they're like all red and everything, and it's wholesome and it's sweet, and I love that. But yeah, introducing yourself, even if you say, I'm whatever your username is, I'm from Australia, don't have to say specifically where you're from.
Australia.
And then saying what you like to play, like what genres of games, or if you just like to play that game, tell people, with the raid, if you need to go, that's fine, but thank you for bringing your community. How did your stream go? Like, just keep it simple. One of the things that I find that I will bring up for
Yep.
especially newbies, like, don't be deterred from anybody, because I do see it sometimes. Not for me. I don't. I really couldn't care. But when people go into, like, I've had people raid me with as many people as like 2 people or 3 people. I don't care how little. I'm grateful that you chose me. And
Mm.
one of the things that I kind of get the ick with, and there are creators that do it, whatever, but for me personally, like, going, oh, thank you for the rate of X amount of viewers, I feel like that's
Yeah,
calling out. It
I
minimizes the excitement of it. Like, just let them
it
raid and be like, welcome in, what did you get, everyone coming in, I'm such and such and blah blah blah, welcome in, what did you get up to on stream? And I've had so many people that have probably had that experience, that are newer streamers. They go, sorry, I didn't have that many people, blah blah. I'm like, no, it's fine, who cares, come hang out, what did you get up to?
yeah,
And I'm trying to build that excitement back, because I don't want them focusing on the number. I want
yeah.
them to be excited and join the community, and my community members uplifting them, but also, like, not, it's just, yeah, I don't know, it just
No,
gives me
I actually
icky vibes.
I have witnessed that before, and it is one of those things where it's kind of like a yep.
Yeah.
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 But like
Yeah.
I've actually had some people, like, when, so I don't subscribe to very many people. I'm
Hmm.
quite I have a mortgage and a kid, so it's hard for me
Yep.
to justify subscribing, but I do
That's fair.
do Prime subs to people.
Hmm. Hmm.
And one of the ones that really, like, it bothers me just a tiny bit, but when people say thank you for the Prime sub, it's like, well, all right, calling me out for being cheap, are you? Like, it's like, you don't
I
need to say Prime sub.
No, I get that. I get that. But yeah, with everybody, I'm just like, same celebration. They all get the same sound. Woohoo! Like, for like just the single sub, bam.
Yeah,
Everyone
I
get
think it's
excited.
probably when the notification pops up. If it has the number there, like, people probably just read the number out and don't even think about
Yeah.
what it is. They're actually, like, the ramifications of what they're saying. They're just saying, "Oh, thank you for the Jury 94 is rating with 1 viewer. That's great.
Yeah.
Welcome
No,
in."
yeah.
And
No,
then,
I'm
like,
just
10 seconds
yeah.
later, like, Trash Ash is rating with 500 viewers. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, I just want that excitement for someone who's newer, or someone who's been trying to make a name for themselves for a long time, to just be able to
Mm,
come in without that pressure.
yeah.
Because I find, like, even myself, I've seen it before so many times that sometimes there was a point where I was getting the pressure of, oh, do I rate this person that's got more viewers than me because they might call me out and blah blah blah. And like, and then you get those streams where you do have a big viewership, and then you go, oh, I know who I'm gonna raid, like, to, like, try and network and just
Yeah.
yeah, that's one thing I will say is yeah, don't be disheartened. Not everybody's like that. But also, yeah, have your raid thing on and introduce yourself, because that first impression is important. I will say that. Very important.
Well, speaking of important things, how important is your stream schedule?
It is very important. I'm useless at scheduling. Let's be real. It's gotten to a point where my community knows that I'm really bad. However, I have more scheduled myself to certain days of the week,
Yeah,
and they know that I start at, so when I'm home, I start around the 7 p.m. mark for me, for my time zone. And generally, again, as I said, most of my regulars, they know that I'll start like a little bit late. And even the new people that have been around for a couple of streams, they start to learn because my my regular community members will start bullying me in my chat while offline, and I'm like, I'm coming. And they just post late, late, and then they'll do it in the Discord late, late, and I'll be like, dude, like just chill. So there's that, but like, yeah, trying to be on time. Whereas like for me, when I'm away for work, again, I stream while I'm away. But they know, like, they get a pre-warning. Usually I'll get like about a week before I have to go away for work, and I'll be like, right guys, from this date onwards, probably for about 2 weeks, I'll be streaming from 9 p.m. my time instead, because I'm away for work. And they're pretty understandable. Like they're pretty switched on. It's just sometimes I won't get my regular lurkers.
yeah,
So numbers might be down just a little bit. So yeah, so with the lurkers, they'll usually like, they'll say good morning because it's early morning for them. They'll turn on their
yeah.
computer, lurk, and then they'll go to work. And so there's also that aspect that I've also got to like think about, but I've kind of gotten used to that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it works. It's a nice balance, to say the
Hmm.
least. Yeah, yeah. But yes,
Interesting.
stream schedules are pretty important. Just try keep it consistent and keep people updated in your Discord, and start your Discord early. If you want
Yeah.
to communicate, start it early. Encourage people.
Well, the Discord is a very important tool. And I've got a Discord that I definitely don't do enough with, but I guess because I don't stream, it's really hard. Like, it's tricky. I've actually been thinking about doing a creator dashboard Discord,
Yeah,
because it's a I want to be able to engage with the audience of the creator dashboard and like help people more directly with certain things. And one of the reasons why I've been thinking about doing a Discord server, and I guess this is the reason why they're so important and
yeah,
such a important part of being a streamer and a content creator, is that they are your direct line to your audience.
yeah,
They are your owned audience in marketing terms. Whereas Twitter, Facebook, whatever other social media platform that you post on, like
yeah,
say if you post on Twitter that you're going live, that's actually an audience owned by Twitter, and
yeah,
they're just giving you access to whoever based on their algorithm. So building up your Discord server and building up your audience in the Discord server gives you a direct line to that audience. So it's
yeah,
very important tool.
yeah,
And I guess getting
100%.
it started early means
Yeah.
building it early.
Yeah, and you can build up your audience and then, chat to people that might have the similar interests. You might gain a few people that, want to play, like if you do multiplayer games, they might jam with you, make a few friends in the process. But also, yeah, trying to figure out, like, set up some bots that can also, so if you are posting on social media, get some bots that do post in there as well to be like, hey, blah, 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 posted on Twitter, and it'll like pop up, and it'll be like, create separate channels for it, so it's all in the one log. People can find it in one place. And then also, like, when you go live, it's a secondary, because I find sometimes Twitch's notifications don't go out until like the next day. Um,
Yeah, it's
that
actually pretty bad.
it's bad sometimes.
It's
Some people will get it like straight away. Some people get it like 5 minutes later. Some people get it like 4 hours later,
30
and it's
minutes
like,
later. Yeah, it's like crazy.
what? And so it's just like, well,
Yeah.
the stream's done now. Like, uh, so yeah,
Yeah,
that
I'm
Discord
actually
noti,
raiding out, so
yeah, yeah, that Discord noti is really good. Like if you've got one, set up automatically. One of the things is, I advise, because I do post a lot of crap. I advise people, like especially with like separate channels, so they don't get pinged with every single one. If they just want to know when you go live and in their own time, they might look at your socials channels that you've posted. They can always opt in and be like, don't want to hear from this channel, don't want to hear from this channel, so they don't get ping, 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 ping. Because me, I get
Yeah,
overwhelmed
because
with
once
too
they
many
get that, they
pings.
unsubscribe.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like for me personally, like 90% of the day, I have my phone on do not disturb or on personal,
Me
for
too.
certain things because I wake up with like hundreds of notifications, and
Yeah.
it's painful. But at the same time, I'm like, I chose this. So yeah, just yeah, yeah. Discord's an important one. Set it up early. Set up a. I think when did I set mine up? I think I set mine up within a couple of months of starting. So yeah, it was
Yeah,
early
right.
enough. It was early enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what kind of opportunities has streaming given you?
Some pretty cool ones. To start
Yeah.
with, the first like major opportunity that I had was like for Elder Scrolls Online, stream team.
Yep.
I found out that they had a stream team like after I fell in love with the game, and then I was like, oh my god, this is a thing. And then I kind of just put myself out there. My first packs, and they had their community manager there, and I was like, "Hi, I was panic mode. It was quite funny. My sister was watching me. I was like, "Hi, I'm Trash Ash, and I play like just this awkward spiel." And I'm like, I've done corporate stuff before. I should be more confident in that, but I just really wanted to like put myself out there. I'm like, are these people famous? Like what? Anyway, and so yeah, like I just introduced myself. I'm like, this is what I play. I love it. I want to try and go for the stream team. Any advice, rah, rah. And yeah, the community manager was lovely, who is my community manager now. She's bloody awesome. Kim, we love you. And yeah, just she's like, if you need anything, just message me. Here's my card. This. What do you do? Rah, rah. And like she was just asking me questions. I'm like, okay, this is better than I thought. And just like pew pew pew. So that was a cool one because then I met the current stream team people in Australia, and now they're my friends. So that was like one of the big breakout. And then from there, obviously things have increased because with that tie-in, like I've done stuff for Bethesda ZeniMax, for like game releases as well, like some paid
Yep.
opportunities. And then like I've done some things with Fortnite, like just posts of Fortnite and doing certain streams for that.
Yep.
There's been a fair few games that I've done like sponsored streams and stuff like that, just with
Yeah.
these ties. And then we're doing stuff
And,
for
and and a lot of this has come in like, and you're not a Twitch partner yet.
yeah, exactly. And that's just putting myself out there and like just kind of expanding and making those network connections. But most events that I've been going to since the first packs made me kick and be like, I want to do this full time. That was literally
Yeah.
what sent me to be like, holy poo, like this is great. And I don't want to swear, I'm sorry.
You're doing very good on the you're doing very good on the
I'm
profanity,
trying. I'm
and I don't
trying.
even have a rule on it. So
I'm trying to be family friendly. And yeah, so
this is
just
not a family friendly series.
fudge.
Uh,
Anyway, so yeah, that first pack kind of just like made a click in the background, and I was just like, okay, I want this. So doing that, those opportunities with the games and like the mix and like Redfall when that first came out, going to like the big launch down to Sydney. Would have liked to go on to the Starfield one, but I couldn't at the time. But
yeah.
like doing those sorts of games, and then doing a TikTok live program with Ace. So they've got
Mhm.
that. So like just kind of learning things from them, and then doing some of the promotions with the games that they've been in ties with, which is great. And then also working with brands like Logitech G, I'm now affiliated with, which is phenomenal. And then I've done work with HP. I've done work with a couple of other peripherals brands, which I can't mention because at the moment, just the next couple of
Yeah.
months, and just from a contract, and yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
doing
yeah, yeah.
like product launches and being able to do videos and going to workshops and stuff like that. It's just you go, holy crap, and working with these big brands, like, you're like, wow, okay. Like, for example, so I'm streaming off my HP laptop, my HP Omen, and yeah, that this little guy, I took it over to Italy with me while I was on holiday, and where we went in Italy, Maranello, home of Ferrari, HP are the main sponsors of Ferrari, the F1 team.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something to impress a client. So I did, and I filmed myself using my laptop in front of Ferrari and it was the perfect time because everybody was switching over shifts. So you had everyone going in and everyone coming out, and everyone's like staring at me, and I'm like, to my partner Josh, I'm like, just film me. Don't laugh because I'll laugh. Just film me for like 10 seconds.
Keep it real professional.
And in the background, if you slow down the video enough, you can see like the guys walking out. There's like a group of like 5 or something of them, and one of them's like, like laughing, and I'm like, I didn't even notice it until I got in the car, and I'm like zoomed in. I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, well, send it for the content. So yeah, and then just like doing things for fundraising and like fundraising streams as well, and like doing that, like coinciding with the fundraising like charities. There's been some pretty cool opportunities from them as well, and just getting my name out there, like being a part of that. So Game on Cancer, for example, was one of the big ones that I've done, where I did pull custard on my head, and because of that I made a name for myself in that sort of like area.
Is that name Custard Head?
There's been a lot of names to it. We won't go. But yeah, so doing things like that, and like fundraising for different charities, and working, like one of my other brands is Gamer Advantage, my glasses, my blue light glasses, which I should be wearing right now. I am naughty, but they're downstairs because I was using them to read my phone. But yeah, just
do you find they help?
Yeah, when I actually wear them, yeah. Yeah, if I wear them, because I tend to take them to my job that I have while I'm home. I'm a vet nurse, so I've been working the last couple of days at the vet. So I take them with me. Today I was on reception, so I was staring at a computer most of the day. So I was just like, I may as well take these with me. So they serve well. They also serve well when things are flying in the air. Just bodily fluids that shouldn't be spraying in the air.
A bit of behind the scenes of veterinary nurse.
Yeah, if you ask my regulars, they know what I talk about, but we won't go there because let's keep this let's keep the ghosts out. But yeah, no, just there's been some really cool opportunities. Still,
when did you? So just for like a, I know numbers don't mean much, but I know a lot of newer streamers probably want to know this. When did you start noticing these opportunities start coming about? Because I know you've got about 7,500 followers on Twitch now, but when did you start seeing these start happening?
I'd say like, when was the first thing? I think about a year and a half ago. I think I was at around 2,000 followers on Twitch, but I was only averaging around 20 to 30. And then like I got that stream team opportunity, but with that, like that took like a good month to like kick in to get up to like the 40s 50s. That was kind of like a bit of another step. But also there was days where it was like up and down, like between that, so like 30 to 50 sort of thing. But just even doing that, and then just doing the charity streams helped as well, because you're also connecting with other people that were large audience. So just being able to network with them, or being on a team with them, and like becoming friends with them and stuff like that, it does help. But yeah, I wasn't huge, like, it wasn't huge, but I think more so being authentic, and having that connection with my audience, and having that conversion as well, because there's been times where I've done sponsored streams, and before I actually gave a crap about my Twitter, they'd be like, oh, you've got to post on Twitter before you go live and then do this, and I was like, Twitter's not that big, but okay. And yeah, so the Twitter analytics would be just yuck, like it wouldn't really convert anything, might have 2 likes on it. and they'd be like, "Oh, send us your," and they'd be like, "Oh, what was it? What happened? There was one game. Um, I sent them my analytics for the stream. It was like 400 viewers, and that was no raids, nothing. And it was a sponsor stream, and they were like, what were your Twitter analytics?" And I sent them. They're like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Don't ask me, bro. I don't know. I don't know if it was a fluke, but it did heavily rely on my audience who were into like ESO, going to a game by the same game company, also having a heavy interest in it, and
Mm.
then having my regulars, but then also I had like in my title like giveaways and stuff like that. So I did have a lot to give that stream. So, but the audience just kept growing and growing, and from there I got like a big chunk of like my regulars now that'll
Well,
pop in
that's
and
it's
out.
an interesting one because I
Yeah.
wouldn't imagine, and I find it interesting that the
Mm.
brands would like showing how much I know, but I wouldn't. I find it interesting that the brands kind of depend like are so heavily like looking at you the post on Twitter before you go live and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I
Because
think it's
I don't.
changed a bit now. Yeah.
Okay, because I don't think that converts like to
No,
views
no, because not
at all.
everybody has a stable Twitter. Like even now, sometimes my Twitter posts flop and I go, eh, and then sometimes they go all right. I'm like, eh. But
Like I
you
did
know,
I did a fake post that I was
yeah,
going live on the creator dashboard a couple weeks ago, and
yeah.
it got like it popped off like 20 people liked it, and they're like, "Oh, I thought you were actually going live," and I'm like, "I don't know, it was just
No, I was just
I
kidding.
just needed the screen capture," and then
Uh,
like a week later, I went live on my I actually went live and I did a post, and it was like two people liked it. I was like,
yeah, and that's the thing. It's just it's so weird to me, but like whatever. I'll do it, but I can't guarantee that'll go well. Whereas more so, I finally figured out, like for example, my TikToks. I finally figured out things recently, and then with
"Oh,
my
do
YouTube
tell."
Shorts. Well, it's more so for me what I've been posting. I didn't know that you could click on the more data button at the bottom and then actually see the exact time that you posted. And, I could see the analytics, but I never actually looked close enough to actually realize that it does actually say the time that you posted on that day. And I'm like, why haven't I seen this yet? Because everyone's been like, post at the same times that pop off and go well for you. And I'm like, where are you finding these times? It was right in front of me this whole time. Anyway, so what I started to do, I went back like months of like videos and I went through every single one and I put, Monday, 4 a.m., and then I'd be like gaming or personal. Because
Mm.
one of the things that,
So you kind of did it by category.
yes, so one of the things that I've found is if you can so with me for my green screen stuff, it's like half gaming, half personality.
Yeah.
Whereas the gaming ones for me don't go off unless if I did a full channel dedicated to just gaming clips, it'd build. No doubt. It'd build. However, you still gotta have the quality. It's still gotta be relatable. It's still gotta do something for someone and it's gotta grab the attention within that matter of like 0.3 seconds, you know. Whereas with my like TikTok page, it's a bit of a mix, but a lot of my audience have liked my more personable stuff better.
Yep.
And so with the green screen stuff, it kind of touches on the gaming but still stays personal. And then doing just me rambling on about my gaming room and stuff like that. That works. I'm like, you know what? Cool. Whereas on YouTube Shorts, I found the green screen stuff and my gaming clips, they pop off there.
Mm.
So I've got like a nice middle ground with these green screen things, but then I'm keeping gaming to one side and then slight gaming, but also gaming genre as in my gaming room.
Yeah.
Streamer tips. I haven't done streamer tips in a very long time. But I should probably get back into that. But like lighting that I've been, I bought a new camera and excited things like that, packs and events and stuff like that. So that's where I've figured out what works well.
And I guess that's got a lot more broader audience, so it probably works a
Yeah.
little bit better on TikTok.
Yeah,
It's
and that's the
interesting.
thing. Yeah,
I
these
was
are just
actually
things that I've been learning the last, like, especially 6 months, I'd say. I'm
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, but
These are
yeah.
interesting things because I was actually this came up in my conversation with Aldemone
Hmm.
in my last interview, and she posts on each of her channels something different about
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
So like her cosplay stuff is mainly Instagram.
Hmm.
TikTok is more just fun, personal event
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously she streams. I don't think she does anything on YouTube, but it's all different aspects of her.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably makes it a lot easier for you to manage what kind of content goes where too. Because
Yeah.
at the moment for like Creative Dashboard, I'm kind of just doing like a post everywhere at once and see what
Yeah.
works
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot out of you to do
Oh,
that.
it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about like eventually I'll work out what works and then just
Yeah.
like not post on like I'm thinking Threads just needs to go on the bin.
I forgot my Threads was connected to my Instagram, to be honest. I was like, wait, I'm getting likes on Threads. When did I put? And then I was like, But I also, my Instagram, I've only just recently like started getting followers back. Like it just was like slowly down. And I didn't really care because I'm like, I haven't been able to grow on this bloody platform forever. It like stayed stagnant and it like grows by like 100 and then it loses 100 and grows by 100 and loses 100. I'm like, whatever. Like I just kind of went, I'll post what I want on there. But whereas the other ones I'm like prioritizing. So I feel like with the
Yeah.
podcast stuff, like you see a lot of it like little bits of cuts and little bits of like, oh my god moments like on TikTok and then like full podcasts on like YouTube and stuff. I feel
that's my exact strategy. And it kind of works because I mean I use a tool that just chops up the videos.
Yeah.
So I mean because it's otherwise it's just like it takes a long time to do. But I don't think you need to think too much about it when it comes to podcast stuff. It's just going to be interesting topics.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it's a little bit of a different strategy.
Yeah.
All right, so sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's where you see like those differences in different like niches and categories. Like you got to find it, you got to figure out where you sit, where you want to sit, and then just kind of fine tuning everything. So
there's probably some merit in finding where your audience is too.
Yeah.
Like I guess it's probably your audience is probably where you are to be fair. If you're like really into Elder Scrolls Online or League of Legends or whatever, you're probably already in the places that those people hang out.
Yeah.
So posting in those places probably makes a lot of sense. But if you're not too sure, I guess you have to try and experiment and see what works and where.
100%.
Cool. All right, so I did set you some homework to do.
Yes, you did.
So what are your top 5 pieces of advice for creators?
Okay, so we've been heavily talking about this. Consistency is key. Posting regularly, but also having a set time schedule for your live streams. Now, posting regularly doesn't mean like post 3 times a day, every day, blah blah. Like because that the stress enough. If you post good quality content that just solves something, proves a point, or provides something, like whether it
Helps
be entertainment or it helps or whatever, as long as it's good quality enough that people can watch it and still enjoy it, post like once a day or once every 2 days if you want to. Like and as what you said, like if you want to try it out, see where your content pops up, post everywhere. And then like after X amount of months, like look at the analytics, see how they perform, and then maybe start twisting things up for certain like platforms. But yeah, I'm guilty of that. I'm naughty for being inconsistent with posting. So that's my main one. Secondly, being authentic. Authenticity matters. Be yourself. Don't act like someone that you are not, and then get caught out and get upsetty spaghetti because you've been caught out to not be like this other type of persona. I feel like just being yourself. Go out there in the world. One of the things I've always been like, I've been confident, but sometimes I've had to hide myself because I'm super energetic, I'm hyper, and I don't stop talking, and I make weird jokes, and I'm an oddball. However, doing this, I've found a lot of other people are, and they're able to open up as well. So just be comfortable with yourself, do what you need to do, and just have fun with it. So if you're authentic and it passes through, people got to play off of that, and they're gonna enjoy your meal. So
I like it.
Number 3, as I've touched on already, engaging with your community. Make sure that if someone talks in chat and asks you a question, be genuine, talk to them, strike up a conversation, ask follow-up questions. If people rate in, introduce yourself, make that first impression, and yeah, just again grabbing things from the game, talking to yourself, getting comfortable with just talking and blabbering on. I've had I've had one person ever ask me, why are you talking so much? I'm like, if you don't want to hear anyone freaking talking, then you shouldn't be watching live streams. Go away.
Yeah,
I
it's
said
like
it in a meaner way
it's
than
like
that.
it's the wrong genre
Yeah,
of content for you.
that is a PG version of how I said that. But anyway, I told them to get in the bin. So yeah, just engage. You'll be fine. You got this. And then keep evolving. One of the main things that I take on board with evolving, one, like obviously over time that I've been in just live streaming, for example, is networking, but also like learning from others what to do, what not to do, like volume, sort of like volume levels for one. That is like a big thing. To be able to enjoy a stream and be able to hear the streamer comfortably over the sound effects of like the music and sound alerts and the game itself. That's
It's hard.
that's
So
something
hard.
that you can evolve from. Every YouTube video that you make, if you're going into long form or short form, TikTok, whatever, improve one aspect every single time that you create a video. Go. All right.
Yeah, I love the 1% growth
Yeah.
like strategies. Just like every time, it's just at least 1% because you do it 100 times. It's like
you'll
100%.
notice it after a while, and you'll look back on your early videos and you'll be like, ew, look where I started. But it helps. It does. And instead of going, oh my god, I need to change this just from the previous video, is too much. Just do one thing at a time. So yeah, just keep evolving, but do it at a pace.
Doing one thing at a time is also good because you can see what changed. You can actually measure it, rather than if you do like 10 things and you get really good improvement, you don't know which of those 10 things was what made the difference.
Exactly. And then, sorry, pardon me. And then what was my last one? Oh yes, don't be afraid to fail. Failure is the most generic thing to ever say, but don't be afraid to fail. If you feel like you're failing somewhere, again, use that evolving method. See what's changed. Maybe you've gone from a niche specific genre and you've gone into variety. That may look like you're failing, but you're not. You're trying to improve something. You're gonna go down before you go back up again. Yeah. Just being persistent, just changing things up, just one thing at a time, slowly. Like learn from like little mistakes. If you like me, the amount of times I've made spelling mistakes, or it's a completely different word in like my text, like my bubble text on screen, like on some of my videos, I'm like, I swear I checked that and I've already posted it and it's a sponsored thing. I'm like, oh well, it's at the end of the video. I'll do better next time. Just little things, like just adjust, keep going. And yeah, just failure, it's not a bad thing. You learn from failure.
I like to embrace failure. Like it's all about just experimenting, and I guess fail faster is something I've heard recently said on a podcast. Like, because the faster you fail, the faster you learn the wrong ways and the right ways to do things.
Yeah, and imagine how good it's gonna feel when you get to the other side. Be like, I'm glad I failed because then I've learned this, and this, and you're better for it at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. You don't learn anything if you don't ever fail.
Yeah, 100%.
But I guess there's also the other side of that is you don't learn anything if you do fail and don't actually act upon it as well.
Yes. You need to take it on board and be like, what did I do wrong? Yeah. And it may not be that you did something like majorly wrong per se. It could be something that just doesn't work that way. And so you go, well, maybe do a bit of research or ask some questions to someone that does know what they're doing and stuff like that.
You do see it a lot in especially content creator world where people like something's not working.
Yeah.
And they just keep doing it and wondering why it's not working, whether it's an algorithm thing or if it's just like not having good thumbnails or not using the right words in the thumbnails. And I'm guilty of it too. And you'll just keep doing it, and it's like, why is it not working? And you know the answer, but you've like, or you might not know the answer, but like you're like you're wanting something to work one way and being hopeful about it because you don't. I don't know. Like thumbnails is one that's I've seen a lot where people won't put the effort into thumbnails.
Yeah.
Where it's like the number one thing, and people expect like their thumbnails, which they put a lot of effort into, but they want their thumbnails to work, even though
Yeah.
it doesn't work for the algorithm.
Yep. Yep, 100%. So I think that's my 5. They're probably my 5
Nice.
main points. They're straightforward, critical, but also, common sense.
I think there's a lot of value there. I think that's some really good advice. So it's some good stuff there. So what is one thing that you want to learn more about? Oh, hang on. Sorry. I need to throw, I didn't word it right. Because we're on a learning journey.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to keep the brand catchphrase in there. Because we're on a learning journey, what is something that you would like to learn more about?
Just one, well, I don't know. I mean, one of the things that I am guilty of is, again, getting out of my own way. That's probably just like a downfall that I have, but like learning more about, how to maybe best time management. One of the things being like YouTube editing. I, been trying to learn Premiere Pro behind the scenes. And it's going well. It's just step by step by step. And I'm watching a lot of YouTube, asking mates a lot of questions, and, just like fine tuning it down into, how much time should I be spending on a video that's X amount long? What should I be kind of focusing on, stuff like that. So yeah, I'd like to learn more about how to really edit a YouTube video more efficiently, I should say. Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of stuff on YouTube about that.
Yeah.
But how long it takes to edit a video, it really comes down to
the
how
type
mey
of
cuts
content. Yeah. And that's the thing.
what you want to make.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
I think that comes with a lot of practice.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the main things, because I do, obviously the aim to get into YouTube for longevity of content creation. Being able to edit properly, but also like my own style, and be comfortable and happy that, yep, that's the style I want. I'm going to edit it pretty much like that each time for different pieces of content. So, or like maybe twist it up here and that. But yeah, the efficiency of YouTube editing, that is one of the main key things that I'd like to really learn to improve on. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Ash, it's been fantastic having you on the podcast tonight. I guess it is tonight.
Yeah, it is tonight.
You've shone a lot of light into the Twitch world, and I think it's definitely inspiring for a lot of people in the creator space to, I mean, like, just keep doing what they're doing. And there's a lot of opportunities out there. So like you said, like at the very start, a lot of brands are changing how they look at creators now. And I guess just being consistent and like, I mean, there's definitely a lot there. So you've shone a lot of lights and stuff, and I think there's a lot to learn from this. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I hope people can take at least one bit of advice from what we've spoken about tonight, and maybe improve their content somehow. So yeah,
fantastic. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, give the video a thumbs up. Obviously, it helps the algorithm if you do, and subscribe to the Creator Dashboard for more content tips, tricks, and advice, and obviously for more podcasts. The more subscribers we get, the bigger the audience we get, the more creators we can have on here, and the more advice that we can share. So thank you very much, and do it.
Do it.
All right, thank you very much, and we'll catch you next time.